there was a crook that got a security job at Heathrow. Right, he was a crook and he got a job at Heathrow. As robbers steal another £2 million. Apparently security down there is lax.
Yeah.
Is that a concern for you?
Is this another?
Yeah.
2 million?
Yeah.
Why is all this money at the airport?
It's those sandwich shops. You know how they're really expensive, the sandwiches in, like, when you're in a plane? They're like £2.50 for tuna, which is ludicrous.
Yeah.
That's basically the reason.
What do you mean, why is all this money at airports?
What is it doing there? Why?
Have a go. No, have a go answering this yourself. Why is anything at an airport?
It's going somewhere.
Or coming in from somewhere.
Yeah, but money, you can sort it out through the bank, like phone banks and that.
Have you done commerce? You know a lot about paying bills and writing out checks, don't you?
Tell us about Kellogg's.
What was it like? What was in the factory? Was it just like squashing bits of corn?
Pretty boring, really. Just loads of conveyor belts, boxes of cornflakes everywhere. Just what you imagine.
Yeah.
So is it more, this is where you might be working? This is where you're likely to work?
Possibly. There was 2 trips. There was that and a trip to Manchester Evening News.
Okay.
And I left that early because I had a job in Cordon Bleu.
In Kellogg's.
Cordon Bleu, what's that?
It's like a supermarket.
Yeah?
And I had to leave the trip early and the teacher went mad saying they thought I'd got lost on the, in the building and stuff.
What, you didn't tell anyone?
No, because it was like day 2 of working in this supermarket and I couldn't be late. I thought by the time I explain where I've got to go and everything, I'll be even later.
Sure.
So I just left, and then apparently they were searching the building and everything for me.
How old were you?
Stuck in a printer. Dunno.
Stuck in a printer?
I don't know.
What was the printer's name?
You worked at a supermarket called Cordon Bleu.
Yeah. Cordon Bleu!
Brilliant.
That's great, isn't it?
It's rubbish.
Oh.
Got sacked.
What did you get sacked for?
Messing about in a, back in the car park round the back.
Yeah.
Right, there was a grid. And all the concrete had gone funny, so when it rains, you got like a big lake.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I got in, do you know those big metal trolleys you get to, like, put all the food in whilst you...
Oh, yeah.
And I got in one of them, and pushed myself out into this lake.
Of cement?
No,
water.
It was full of water, because it'd been raining. Right. And I got stuck in the middle, right? And the boss was like, where's Karl? He's meant to be doing, facing up the beans. And I was like...
and you were stranded in a lake.
So someone said, I saw him messing about out the back. He came out and saw me stuck in the middle of this lake in a trolley. And he said, get back in. I said,
would you say, no, I'm filming sharks?
I said, it's too deep. I can't get out, you'll have to pass me something. And he said, I'm not passing you nothing. He said, you can get out of there and walk through it. I said, I'm not, I've got my trainers on, probably the same ones.
Yeah, you risked your life for them.
Yeah. I said, I'm not getting these wet. I said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to wait for the water to go down the grid. He said, the grid's blocked, now get out or you're sacked. I said, well, I'm not getting out. He said, right, you're sacked.
So you were sacked? How long did you have to wait for the water to go down the grid?
In the end, I did get bored, and I sort of did a bit of a leap and a jump, and got 1 foot wet.
How long were you waiting?
Maybe about half an hour.
Just think of it! Just think! I mean, how did he get himself into that situation? That's fantastic. Should we play a record?
Oh, definitely. That's a joy. Oh, you're an absolute pleasure. More White Van Man next time on the show. Electric Soft Parade. I keep trying to get the album for free from you, Karl. You've not sorted me out yet. I have to rely on other people to give me different copies.
No, I did try, and
tracks.
I'll keep trying.
Please do. This is one called There's a Silence, Electric Soft Parade.
Gomez and Shot on XFM 101.9. Sorry, I was going to tell Steve something. Talk amongst yourselves. When you were out there, Johnny Mango phoned up and said to Karl, come on, when are we going to do this thing? And Karl got all nervous, right? And, he went, you don't want to do it, do you? He said, well, it's going to get out of hand. I just wanted to go as high as a tree. And, he went, well, you can. I'll hold you down with a rope. He went, yeah, but he said, but when the crowd are there and they're all screaming higher, I'll feel the pressure and have to go along with it. What crowd? What crowd is this? Higher. No, higher.
We don't live in a medieval era. It's not going to be dancing bears and tumbling midgets. Well, I don't know, that's an idea.
Hold on. If there's anyone got any of those.
Some midgets would be amazing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Less balloons, cheaper to do.
Oh, you're going
up. No, you're going up with them. No, you're going up with them, not just, no.
With a midget under either arm. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, dear. It's time for the re-education of Karl Pilkington. This week Karl was studying, the life and times of Winston Churchill. What do you make of it, Karl? What did Churchill do for you?
Well, last week I made a bit of an error with Hitler.
Yeah, you
tried to remember too much, and it was way too much for me.
Sure.
So what I've done this week, sort of flicked through, got a few of them basic facts.
Yeah.
And what I've learned, right, bit weird the way all these people have something in common, that they're all a bit weird when they're younger.
Okay.
They've got some sort of illness.
Go on.
Well, you know, Rasputin, he wasn't well as a kid.
Yep.
Che Guevara.
Oh, this is Rasputin the Mad Monk wasn't well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Che Guevara.
Yeah. Asthma.
Really bad asthma. Hitler. He was
Only one
bit mental.
Yeah.
Only one. His mother.
He was a bit mental. That could be libelous.
Yeah.
And, who've we done? And Churchill.
Yeah.
Very weak child.
Was he?
He only spoke to his dad 4 times in his whole lifetime.
Really?
Yeah, didn't get on with his dad.
Right.
And I think one of the times when his dad spoke to him, he was having a go, saying he didn't do as well in the army as he wanted him to.
Right.
So that's pretty sad that I picked up of it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that spurred him on anyway.
Yeah. I'm not going in all the ins and outs. Very important bloke.
Okay.
No, seriously, I mean, your dad bought the tapes, didn't he?
Yes.
And I can understand why. Because he did change a lot for us. You know what I mean? We wouldn't be sat here now talking like this.
Why?
We could have been German.
Yep.
He didn't let that happen.
No.
Everyone had a go at him, right? When I think it was Chamberlain who was in power, and he was like saying, "Don't be trusting that Hitler."
Yeah.
You know, and everyone was like, "Look, stop causing trouble." Chamberlain sorted it out. You know, he sorted out a peace agreement.
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, I don't trust him." And everyone's like, "Oh, you know, you're just causing trouble." You know, everyone else is happy. Then it turned out that Hitler did actually do the dirty.
Yeah.
And try and come over.
I remember didn't he do something? He started a war or
There was
something.
a conflict of some kind.
Yeah. Started a problem. And everyone went, "Hang on a minute, that Churchill knew what he was talking about."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get him back in charge.
Sure.
And they got him in, and Hitler was scared of him because he knew that he wasn't going to be having any lies or anything. He couldn't try it on with Churchill.
Yeah. Especially when he was a little bit pissed up and coked and with a big cigar. Churchill.
He wasn't he wasn't doing that.
I think a lot were during the war, in the war cabinet. I think they had to have things to keep him awake all night and stuff, and he certainly liked a brandy.
Rick, Winston Churchill was coked up, was he? I mean, sorry, this is something I wasn't aware of.
If there are any historians listening, if I'm wrong, I'm
Was that
very
in the
sorry.
World at War?
No, I don't
Winston
think
Churchill
so.
was-
Any historians or experts on war? Did Churchill and not some of the other people during I think the First and Second World War take a little bit of cocaine?
So when it said that
Doctors certainly used to.
Hitler liked cakes, would they be like the funny sort of cakes?
No, he probably did like a little bit of Madeira cake.
Right.
Yeah, there's probably nothing like that. Sorry, carry on.
So anyway,
He beat the Bosch.
yeah, did all that.
Oh, that's steady on. His personal life's nothing to do with it.
And the most amazing bit is, right, he wasn't fit, and he had a couple of
Oh,
strokes.
he's a good-looking bloke in many ways.
Well, he had a couple of strokes, but he had a stroke on, say...
We've had that. He beat the Bosch. He likes to have a couple of strokes.
Yeah.
Let's not get into innuendo, Carl. It's stupid.
Right, say he had like a stroke on a Tuesday. He was up and fighting again on a Wednesday.
Really?
He was a strong bloke.
Yeah.
And then he died at about the age of 86 or something.
He's a good lad, wasn't he?
He was really good.
Yeah. So
Is he the one you favour most of all the
I'd
ones?
say out of all, I mean, Rasputin, I don't understand why he got, like I said, I don't know why they made a book on him.
No.
He just didn't deserve it.
No.
Che Guevara, you know, he had his time, I suppose, and did a bit good for certain people.
Sure.
Sorted Cuba out.
Yeah.
Doesn't really affect me.
No.
Hitler, I mean, enough said.
Yeah.
Bad bloke. Churchill sorted it all out.
Yeah.
And like I
So
said,
your favourite out of the four of them, the of all those four, is Churchill.
yeah. I think he's
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
I agree. I agree with you, I think.
What I love with your kind of sort of summary of these people's incredible lives is the way that it's almost like I remember in Lookin' magazine. I just remember Lookin'. It was the Junior
Yeah, I
TV
remember
Times.
Lookin'.
They used to have half a page, which was a comic strip, summarising someone's life. You might have, say, 5 Star, the story of 5 Star,
Yeah.
and he'd have a picture. I always remember the Roger Moore one. Was a picture of like Roger's parents. It was like Roger Moore was born in 1930. Picture of Roger's parents. Roger grew up during the war. Picture of Roger running down the street, right, just as a school kid, with a Spitfire coming behind him like he was going to try and shoot him.
Mr. Smith, surely.
Exactly, Mr. Smith. Yeah, Roger took up acting. Picture of Roger like acting.
Yeah.
Roger became James Bond. James Bond. Roger's now a popular, you know, star in his own right, and does a lot of work for charity. Brilliant. It summed up the whole thing in kind of
I think they used to have that in, one of the TV Times or the
Yeah,
Sun. I remember sort of when it was, Tina Turner, Born Sarah May Bullock, then it was Nutbush City Limits, Stop Hitting Me, Ike.
Yeah.
And then, Simply the Best, and that was it.
Exactly.
It was great.
That's very much what the, how your summary of great events is.
But I'd say if you didn't know about Churchill, you've learnt a bit today.
I suppose so. Can people call in, to all these fellas taking cocaine? I think I'm right. It's 08700 800 1234.
Yeah?
Give us a call, XFM 104.9.
Did Winston Churchill and various other dignitaries take coke during the war?
During the war, saying up for the war effort, but emergency, summits and meetings, I think it was, I think it's been documented. I could be wrong. And let me tell you now, it's not happening today. He's there, isn't he, to save me for Nancy, XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Karl Pilkington. I'm getting excited now, because we've had loads of, calls and emails, not only backing me up, but going a little bit further. Apparently, Johnny Mango called in again. He's become our sort of official researcher on this show. There is evidence that, Queen Victoria in Balmoral, with a young house guest, Winston Churchill, used to consume cocaine-filled lozenges. So, there you go. Also, MDMA was a precursor of sort of ecstasy, a derivative, and, that was big in the day, giving soldiers, you know, a little, pick-me-up. So, it's not so mad, is it?
It sort of makes sense, because he was into his speeches and that, and they say that coke gives you sort of, you know, the balls to stand up and say, like...
Not that that's a good thing. And
no, it's not.
No.
Definitely not.
No.
Right? But it apparently it makes you confident, doesn't it? So you can stand up and say, you know, we're gonna fight them on the beaches.
Yeah.
And all that, and sound like you mean it.
Exactly, yeah. When he was sort of like, you know, a little bit pissed up with his cigar on, coked off his tits, he wanted to fight. He didn't care where it was. He'd fight on a beach. He didn't care. He didn't care if he got sand in his new trainers.
Exactly. He was boozed up.
Yeah. You want to fight? yeah. That's why he was coming hard.
He was very much. You got to think of him as the Liam Gallagher of his day.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Are we allowed to talk about this? I mean, I don't mean in terms of referencing drugs, but are we allowed to, is this like libelous to Winston Churchill?
One, you can't libel the dead.
Yeah, but
two, it's
is that only in America?
I'm asking, and we're not saying, you know, two, I think you've probably going to also a fair comment. Three, we say we were joking. Yeah. 4, it's a satire.
Yeah. 5, we love him.
5, we're not condoning drugs in any way.
6, it's his Dermot O'Leary show.
I didn't have a go at him anyway. I said he's alright. If there's any law against Rasputin, we might be in trouble.
Law against you did willfully Rasputin.
Yeah.
All over the airwaves.
You did slag off Russia's greatest love machine.
yeah. You didn't shoot him till he was dead, did you? Oh, put some poison into his
I'll tell you this, if there's any other historical questions that people want answered, then we're the men, because really, with the three of us, our knowledge of the fact that the Hindenburg was filled with helium, the kind of coke habits and various drug habits of Britain's most famous, political leader, we've got the answers to all of it.
Einstein.
Go on.
I found out in the week that he didn't talk till he was 6. See, it's all these people who are weird.
Churchill couldn't read, could he, till he was about 8 or 9?
Really?
Yeah. So, there you go. He got a D in history, apparently, GCSE. Just one better. No, but, Karl, called me in the week, and he was a little bit stressed, because he's had a bad week now. He got stressed about Hitler and Churchill, and I said, well, we're chill out a little bit, and I'll teach him something a little bit, cozier. And I said, like, what about animals? No, you know, not frightening other animals. You're interested in animals, aren't you? Yeah. You know, and he went, alright then. And then he went, okay, here's a question for you, Heather. So there's 3 animals without ears. He said, and I've told you one. And I went, well, that's the snake, because he was talking about the snake. I went, hold on, Karl, there's loads of animals without ears. He went, there's not, there's 3. I went, there's loads. I said, jellyfish, worms, single-cell protozoa, peripherous. But he went, oh, what are you talking about? Animals, proper animals. I went, they are animals. He went, no, proper animals. And I went, do you mean mammals? He went, what are you on about? I said, are these animals, have they got legs, and are they fur-bearing, right? And he went, one is. They've got legs. I went, I don't know, I give up. He went, right, the turtle. I went, right, yeah. And he went, and the bumblebee. He said, that's the one with fur. That's the one with fur. The one, what are you thinking? What is in your head, Carl?
Which has got the most fur, a bee or a turtle?
It's not fur.
What is it?
Well, it's, you know...
He's done you there, Gervais.
Pseudo hairs, isn't it? It's like it's a hair, it's a keratin thing. It's not like we have, like mammals grow fur. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not convinced.
When we say like fur, mammals are warm-blooded creatures.
Yeah.
Often, usually placental, there's a few exceptions, right? That give their milk to their young, nurture their young, and they have fur.
Have you heard about oysters? Oysters. They're 1 minute they're a man, then they're a woman, then they're a man again.
Like Eddie Izzard. Now that's libelous. He's a transvestite, could I say. He's not a transsexual. Let's say that straight away. I'm retracting that.
Right, go on then, give us some more facts.
No, I've got you, Aesop's Fables.
No, but you had some more facts you told me that were dead good. I just wondered if Steve knew them.
What do you want to know?
The ones that you read out to me. You had one about the spiky thing.
Go on.
Porcupine.
Give me a clue.
How many spikes has a porcupine got?
Dunno.
How many was it?
I think it was about 10,000. But these aren't the most interesting facts, are they?
It's alright.
It's alright though, isn't it? Yeah. And he went, but how can they say that? You could say that, you know, we've got a certain amount of hairs in our head. I went 100,000 average. He went, yeah, but I haven't. So how do we know that that porcupine that they've counted is the same for all of them?
Might have had alopecia.
yeah, he might be a particularly hairy one. You know what I mean? Right, you got a, do you know what a fable is? I'll try to explain briefly. Do you know what a fable is?
I've got a rough idea.
Okay, it's a thing that uses sort of, metaphor, analogy, just to explain sort of, morals. I mean, they're very old, for a start. And it's all I'll give you an example of one. A quick one. Oh, the one about the dog with two bones. He goes to, a dog's got a bone, he sees a reflection in the lake, and he thinks, oh, that dog's got a nice bone. I'll have that. And as he goes to get that one in the reflection, he drops the one he's got, and that's one about, you know.
I think I was told one when I was younger.
Go on.
I think it was one. This young lad. He's got a dog, right, and he's about 8 years old, and this dog, he's had it since he was about 4, and it's a bit tired now, and it chucks sticks for it, and it doesn't go for it, and, he's saying to his mum, oh, I want a new dog, because this one's useless, it doesn't do what, you know, it doesn't have any fun with me. So they say, oh no, but you know, Rover's a good little dog, you should look after it, and he's like, oh, I don't like it, I want a new one. So they buy him a new puppy. And it's running around, yapping about, and he's loving it, and he's playing around with it in the grass. And then, one day he goes to the park, and he's messing about and rolling about with it, and he falls into the lake, right? And the little puppy's, like, yapping at him, and he's going, help me, little dog's yapping. And then the old dog comes, and gets his collar, and it pulls him out of the lake, and he goes, oh God, you know, why did I forget about you, you're the better dog. And he loved that one again rather than the puppy.
I got a feeling that was Lassie.
Well, yeah, that was an episode of Lassie. What's the moral? What's the moral there, Carl? What's that telling? What's that explaining through analogy?
Sort of, don't forget the old.
So look after old people. I remember there was one I heard once about a young boy who got trapped in a lake. Inside a cage.
But he loved his trainers
so much he wasn't going to get them wet, but even though he had to get out there,
and even though he thought that was the important thing because it's material value, he actually drowned, and the trainers were no good to him then. Now I want to clear a couple of things up. Obviously, me and Steve, we love Karl. This is the things we give Karl to read and talk. Is not to embarrass him or stress him out at all. We genuinely like his view of the world.
Yep.
In fact, we did an interview yesterday with a bloke from the Standard who really liked the show and said, do you like Karl? Because you take the piss out of him a lot. You know, we just like to say, we love Karl. I said to that bloke, I said, it's like I've got a new kitten. I can't wait to get in and see his little face on Saturdays, didn't I?
Yes.
And, I think, I'm worried because I thought I'd give Karl something he was really get his teeth into with these Aesop fables. It involves animals and, you know, little stories. But I've given him a couple and he doesn't seem to be that impressed or understand the concept.
It's just that you said you'd bring in an animal fact book as well, and I can't see that anywhere.
No. Well, you can only read one book at a time, can't you?
Why didn't you bring the other one in first?
Well, it's big. I've got to work my way up to it. I'll probably have to get a cab, because it's a bit big. Now listen, I'll give this one. This is an easy one. Now just think, right? Think just what it means. They're not that hidden. They're not that cryptic. Just think what this means, okay? Okay. When the hares addressed a public meeting and claimed that all should have fair shares, the lions answered, "A good speech, hairy feet, but it lacks claws and teeth, such as we have."
How would you use that?
No, what do you think that means? This is translated from the, I don't know, Greek or something, I don't know. It was Aesop. Where's he from?
Greek.
Yeah. So, shall I do it in my own language? Okay, so what would happen if there's hares, and they have a meeting in the jungle with, like, loads of lions, and go, "Hey, hold on, wait a minute, I think we should all be equal and share everything, alright?" And the lions go, "Well, yeah, it's easy for you to say, we've got claws and teeth."
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's saying, like, course the hares want that, because it's better for them. The lions get nothing out of it, because they're already king of the jungle.
That's right. So it's negotiating from weakness. Anyone can negotiate from strength, but negotiating from weakness is it'd be lovely. It's a lovely utopian look at the animal kingdom.
But the way you said it is better than the way they worded it.
Well, that's because Ricky's very much the modern Aesop. I mean, many people have thought that. You know, that's why he's getting a lot of awards with the TV show. For him, that's a
So look, I'll take that home and read ones you like, and tell me about the ones you like. Ones that click. I don't care if you only come in with like one or two. Go, I'll tell you what, Rick, that there's one thing that I've learned from that. You know, because sometimes you can know all these phrases, and until something happens, you don't think, you know, everyone's heard, you know, I don't know, to err is human, to forgive divine. And then something, you know, might happen, and you go, oh, that's what that means, that's amazing. So, you know.
Do you know any, Steve, offhand?
What's that?
A fable.
Well, I would imagine that the most famous one I've always remembered is the lion with the thing in its hoof. Do you remember that?
Paw.
The lion, yeah, with the spike in its paw, and a smaller animal gets it out for it, but it still attacks it anyway.
Well, that's life, isn't it?
Well, I read one the other day, actually, which was very interesting. It was one that the famous film director Orson Welles said.
Oh, yeah.
Which he said, apparently there was a bear going across a lake, wading through the lake, and a scorpion said, well, let me go on your back, will you? Come on, just let me go on your back, we'll go across, it'll be brilliant. He goes, well, no, you'll just sting me. You go, don't be stupid, if I sting you, you'll die, and we'll both drown. And he goes, oh, fair enough.
Who was doing the stinging?
The scorpion.
Right, okay.
And the bear's wading through the water.
Yeah.
So the scorpion jumps on the back, and they wade through the water, and halfway across, the scorpion stings the bear. And the bear goes, well, we're both gonna die now. He goes, yeah, it's my nature.
I thought he was going to say, I can swim.
Oh, you're the best.
What's the one about,
Does that mean anything to you? It's my nature, i.e., you know, that's in my nature.
That's the way it is.
That's what I do, yeah. I'm a scorpion. Yeah. One of my favourite ones.
These don't mean anything to you, do they? I mean, what I'm saying is you're not impressed by them.
They're alright.
What about this? What about this one? Here's one of my favourite. What?
He said, well, why not just say, don't trust bears?
The bear's the one that was too trustworthy. Don't trust scorpions.
Yeah.
Right, here's one of my favourite ones of all time, okay? A lion is dying, he's an old lion, he's in the front of his cave, and all the animals come around, like the foxes and the hyenas, and the rabbits, and they're all taking the piss out of him, and they're laughing at him, and they're laughing and going, you can't fight us now, and just before he dies, he goes, fine, but I was a lion once. What does that mean?
Don't know.
Well, he's saying, it's better to have lived and had what I had, because I was great, if only for a short time, and you lot are still alive, but you're nothing. You're rabbits and hares. I was a lion once, so, you know,
Are they always using animals for these stories?
Well, yeah, I could change it to refrigerators and household appliances if it would make it help, but animals, you know.
I remember the one about being ill a lot, and you say something about,
Go on.
you know, if you keep doing that, if you keep having time off, well, I won't believe you.
That's the boy who cried wolf. Is that right? Yeah. Do you know that
Have
one?
you heard the famous one? This is probably the most powerful one. When you're pulling a face, and they say, well, if you keep doing that, the wind changes.
I've heard
Like that. Because you know that's scientifically proven.
That is.
That can happen.
That can happen.
Should we have hip hop hooray?
Yeah.
Are you queued up for that?
No, but go on, you,
Carl, sort it out, mate.
I was gonna...
No, come on, this is what I asked you to play, mate. If you've not, you're getting too big for your boots now with your showbiz lifestyle. You're not paying attention, are you? You're not playing the record if we want you to play.
Heat magazine's favourite.
Yeah. Okay, so,
you dropped that, you embarrassed
that's clumsy.
Oh.
With the big...
I can't believe you know, Fables are great.
He's not impressed, is he, really?
No, I am. I mean, once I take this book home tonight and that, have a read, I might change my mind on them next week.
You're coming all stressed.
I'm not impressed with the ones you've been talking about, I must admit.
Okay.
Okay, this album is by this group Nerd, who are big hip-hop and R&B producers in the States.
Yeah.
We've played a track from them in the past, Bobby James. This album's been re-recorded, I don't know why exactly, with live instruments. You don't get many R&B and hip-hop records now with live instruments, so it's pretty... It's
all computers, isn't it, Steve, these days, and drum machines.
And there is a forthcoming single. I suspect it might be this track, Rockstar. I'm not going to play that, I'm going to play track 2, Things Are Gonna Get Better. True enough.
Yeah?
Well, I think that's just time for some interesting facts that Johnny Mango, our researcher from loosecontrol.com, has emailed us. A few familiar ones, favourite ones of yours, I think.
Any ones I don't know, though?
I think you know this one, don't you? A pig's orgasm lasts for 30 minutes.
I know. And a pig can't actually look directly up. Wouldn't have thought so after 30 minutes of coming.
No, absolutely.
Daddy, you could be careful here.
That's incredible.
Remember what happened to Tom Bins? Go on.
Humans and dolphins are the only species that have sex for pleasure.
Bonobos do as well, they've rediscovered. Which is a
Bonobo?
A chimpanzee, like a chimpanzee.
Right.
So, yeah. So it's 3 now.
Can't believe dolphins are getting...
They're 3, they're all at it now. Dolphins getting
Yeah. Polar bears are left-handed.
Yeah.
True, yeah. I don't quite know how they work that out. Did they give them spelling tests? Or writing tests?
Oh yeah, they probably just do it. It's probably the paw they use to hide up the black nose during a hunt.
Of course, of course. Some lions mate over 50 times a day. Yeah, not every day of the year. Okay, they don't do that every day. No. Okay, because again, I'm worried.
No.
I didn't think that dolphins...
What day of the year do you do it 50 times? What is it? It's coming up to it. It's April, isn't it? You'd like to get out there.
I have a special day, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we could coincide that with the balloon event. It'll just be me quietly humping in the corner. Volunteers, welcome to email now, and all the proceeds go to charity.
If you are a desperate lioness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Butterflies taste with their feet.
I didn't know that.
Interesting.
I didn't know that.
That is interesting.
But they don't eat much, do they? Because they only live a day.
Good point.
They wouldn't need to eat.
An ostrich's eye is bigger than its brain.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
That's extraordinary.
That is, yeah.
And the,
But Carl, how big are your eyes?
Cruel. Finally, I think we've discussed this before, haven't we? A cockroach will live 9 days without its head before it starves to death.
Yeah, that's only because it can't get water and food. Yeah, it would be quite happy going around doing its normal things.
Yeah.
I mean,
probably can work.
If you're just as good without your head as with your head,
may as well not have a head.
I don't see the point. Well, that was thanks to Johnny Mango there of what's his website called? Who's turned into a sort of volunteered researcher. Yeah, he's very fast.
Loosecontrol.com. Can I just say as well, we've had lots of emails from different people just saying they enjoy the show and offering little tidbits and things. Nick Wilson, Sarah and Lauren, Ken, Dan, Jane. She wanted some Ash. We didn't play Ash. Never mind. Lee, Jez, Derry. There's loads of people there.
Well, I'm gonna again. We were talking earlier about you not caring about being like a geek or a freak or not trendy. No, I'm just saying.
I am trendy. Yeah.
And I know, yeah. And I'm going to play a bit of an easy listening. I apologise to those people who still tune in and expect to hear 2 hours of new metal or Gorillaz. And this is a very old-fashioned, lovely tune. It's Bread. I hope you enjoy it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Bread.
New Order, here to stay on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais.
We're here to stay.
Yeah.
For the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
All right.
That's Steve Merchant there.
Hello there.
We're with our producer here, Karl Pilkington. We'll be talking to Karl a little bit later because we've got to have his thoughts on Aesop's Fables, continuing the education of Karl. We've got some great music coming up, haven't we?
Good music.
A little bit of what have we got? Happy Mondays.
Badly Drawn Boy.
Yeah, all that. Bob Dylan.
All sorts
coming up.
Yeah, Rick, I don't know, I just wanted to bring your attention to this. Someone passed this on to me. It's from the Guardian's media website. There has a sort of website that's dedicated to kind of media information.
Is this about our complaint?
Well, the headline is Comedian Rapped Over Radio Innuendo.
Right.
Jessica Hodgson has written the article. Are you familiar with this? Have you seen this?
Be careful now, because we actually got a complaint, and a lot of people don't know this, we got a complaint upheld, and
well, all of this
we're very sorry, we didn't mean to offend, and it was a while ago, so we are going to be very careful. Carl's getting very nervous. We're just going to read out. We're not going to editorialise, Carl. We're just going to read out what The Guardian printed about us, alright? Okay.
Comedian Ricky Gervais has had a dressing down from a broadcasting watchdog for his repeated use of the word cock in a lunchtime radio show.
That's alright, that's what it says,
fine,
Carl.
that's what
He's not going to say it again, he's not... Yeah. Go on.
Imagine this is the news, and I'm reading it.
Yeah.
The Broadcasting Standards Commission upheld a complaint against the comedian for coarse sexual innuendo in the programme on London station XFM. The Commission acknowledged that the presenter's remarks were intended to be humorous, but took the view that the amount and detail of the coarse sexual innuendo had exceeded acceptable boundaries for broadcast, said the BSC in a statement. The complaint objected to a section in the Comics Saturday afternoon show when he discussed the different meanings of the word cock. Gervais wondered aloud whether the word was acceptable when discussing birds, but not the male sexual organ. A BSC spokesman said the comedian went on and on about it for nearly 5 minutes. XFM, a self-styled alternative radio station, said in its defence that its remit was to provide cutting-edge programmes for a youth audience. The station said the programme's brief was to include elements of alternative comedy within certain shows that would not fit within a more mainstream radio station format. In this particular show, it was not the presenter's intention to shock when they took a humorous look at how the English language could be construed in different ways within different contexts. Gervais, whose big break was on Channel 4's 11 o'clock show, has shot to household status through the portrayal of David Brent, the middle manager from hell in BBC Two's cult show The Office.
Just in case you didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah, he's a household name, but they just thought...
You might not have heard of him, but he is a household name. Now, that's good reporting, and they're quite right about it, and just to remind people, it was when Steve said the only, bird that hasn't got a penis is the swan, and I went on about the male bird being called the cock, but I couldn't use that to mean, and, you know, it was childish, you know. But, what annoys me is, I'm sure I've heard things on, like, Radio 1 like that. Oh, what's what's her name in the morning? Sarah?
Cox.
Yeah. And, there's a DJ, like Karl,
Cox?
Yeah, so you got, Karl. What's the matter? I'm just saying.
You're just saying
there's a pair of DJs on,
Yeah, but
you know.
we've done this.
And,
what are you talking about? We're just talking about
names. They're just saying the names. Now, I love Cox in the morning.
You're a big fan of Cox.
And at night. What's the matter with you?
Come on, Carl. Alright, we've taken it, have you actually been rapped over this?
No, I don't know what
Have you had a dressing down?
No.
When did that happen?
I don't know.
I was meant to tell you, and I never got round to it.
Okay. Thanks then.
So don't do it again.
Oh,
Can I just add that, in case you don't know what, you know, the frequency is?
Yeah, exactly.
Why did they say that? Are they not, so you know what you listen to, so you go, I'll tell you what, I like that radio station.
Yeah.
And it was XFM 104.9.
Exactly.
I'll listen to that again.
You'll listen to that, you can retune.
Yeah.
I was wondering actually, Rick,
Stay locked up this end of the dial.
True enough. I was wondering, because, you know, obviously we're still trying to campaign to get Karl into the air.
Yeah.
With the balloon, enterprise, and obviously the work's been done on that, don't fret, don't worry. A lot of people are asking for an update, but, you know, we'll obviously let you know when it's all gonna take place.
Yeah.
But I was wondering
These things take time.
Exactly, but I was wondering whether we should also have another kind of campaign, some kind of campaign, maybe one that could involve you, Rick. Because I'm particularly concerned, Karl, I don't know how familiar you are with this, with Ricky's eating habits. Because he eats so unhealthily.
No,
it scares me. No, come on, Rick, don't give me this.
I'm getting better now.
No, you're not getting better.
I have a smoothie every day.
Yeah, but I've told you before, that's largely sugar.
No, homemade one.
I don't care, Rick. That's not enough. It can't counteract, right? This is Ricky Gervais's idea of health eating, right? We'll be in the canteen at the BBC. He'll go, I'm going to eat healthy today, which means he'll have 2 slices of pizza instead of pizza and chips. That's basically that's his theory, right? And it's like, I don't know what, because he can't eat anything which doesn't sting the roof of his mouth with flavour. So like, for instance, he's always got headaches, he's always got a headache. Okay, that's because you just drink coffee and Coke, you never drink water, your body is dehydrated. And I said to him, drink a glass of water, no, boring. It's boring, water. I don't know if we were in the desert, stranded, boring. It's boring, Steve. I'll wait till the next cafe. Right, and sometimes he'll go like, oh, I'll have a salad, right? He'll get like a feta cheese salad, right? And he'll eat the little bits of feta cheese, leave the salad. Then he goes downstairs and goes, I'm still hungry. It didn't fill me up, that salad. I go, no, what didn't fill you up was the 200 milligrams of goat cheese that you ate. That's what didn't fill you up. So this should be a campaign. I don't know whether I can observe it, people could sponsor him, something. Just eat healthy, we could do it for some kind of big charity.
Fruit.
I don't think the fruit's the issue, Rick.
If you mash it, I'll eat anything.
Rick, I'm not saying that you don't eat a certain amount of fruit, I'm saying that everything else you eat is unbalanced, and it's just rich with fat, and it's awful.
Yeah.
It's sausages, it's beans. You're such a working class scum, aren't you? It's the smell of chip fat is all around him. Do you know what I mean? It's like, even when you can't smell it, you know it's there, seeping through his veins. I imagine when he was growing up, it was just chip fat.
It was.
In the house, just a big...
It was.
Oh, constantly boiling.
There was always chips on with everything,
Exactly.
yeah, or fried.
Do you want Weetabix in the morning? Deep fat fry that. It's such scum. And now it's like, oh yeah, my palate, you know, I can't eat anything. It's got no flavour. Everything's got to have cheese on it. Sprinkling Parmesan cheese. More Parmesan cheese. And if someone, like, doesn't give him, like, a whole tub of Parmesan cheese when you're in a restaurant, even though he's ordered, like, a lobster or whatever, he's like, he sort of has a go at the waiter, or, like, not to their face, obviously he's too much of a coward, but he'll say to me, like, he should have left the cheese. They so cheat with the cheese. They don't give me any cheese. He just gave you 3 bucketfuls. Oh, it's a cheese. They should... More cheese here. It's pathetic. So I just think we should do something, because I'm panicked. I'm worried, you know. I'm worried.
I started working out a little bit. I sort of work out twice or 3 times a week.
I don't think that's going to counteract it, Rick.
And I drink water through the night when I wake up and I'm dehydrated.
From all the booze you've just drunk.
Yeah, and I have a smoothie in the morning, don't I?
You know what my views are on the smoothies. I don't think that's counteracting.
You're anti-smoothie. You're anti-smoothie.
Because I don't think it's counteracting all the other
You have got a problem. There's nothing wrong with the smoothie.
Right, fine. Okay, well, if you're happy to carry on as you are.
Yeah, go on.
Badly Drawn Boy obviously has done the soundtrack to this new film, About a Boy.
Yeah.
Which has got Hugh Grant in it. And obviously, this current single, what's it called? The current one that's out? The Silent Side. That's currently, obviously that's being played on XFM. But this is another track from this album, which is the soundtrack. Lots of kind of, little bits of filler, bits of musical instrumental stuff, but all of it's very nice. This is a cracking tune, track 3, Something to Talk About. Lauren have emailed in, they said they wanted something from Elliott Smith or maybe Jimmy Webb. That's actually produced by the producer of Elliott Smith. And
is that I haven't brought any Jimmy Webb into the album.
No, we'll maybe play that next time.
I'll play some next week.
That's Badly Drawn Boy though, from the soundtrack to this film About a Boy, and that's called Something to Talk About.
We've only got the stuff in the library. Do they want 4 non-blondes? Because we've got that in the library, haven't we?
The best of Tony Basil.
And we've got just about every song that INXS ever recorded.
Exactly. We don't play enough INXS.
I don't think we do. No, I can't believe it. XFM 104.9 coming up. White Van Karl.
White Van Karl. I was obviously out with Karl last night.
Oh yeah.
I realise this because we went out. There's what's the name of that evening?
Marketplace, extracurricular.
Yeah, various XFM DJs go down there and just play an eclectic mix.
Spin some tunes off.
Absolutely, and I'm thinking of doing it in a couple of weeks, Rick. And obviously, you know, my turntablist skills now are pretty, something to behold. And I tell you this, I did an amazing mix the other day with my friend Dan. We spent 2.5 hours on it. This is how we spend our evenings now. 2.5 hours mixing from a trip-hop, sort of, hip-hop style beat into, Arthur's Theme by Christopher Cross.
Great
When You Get Caught Between the Moon and New York
Written by
City.
4 people.
4 people.
Bacharach, Carol Bayer-Sager, Christopher Cross, and a 4th one.
Absolutely.
Phone in.
If you know that.
Maybe we should, but who knows the 4th person credited on that tune?
If I win a prize.
700, 800, 1, 2, 3, 4. Also, I want someone else to phone in. Right? I saw an advert. Right, there's advert toys. I think it must be. Is it because it's Easter holidays or something?
Right.
And I was watching today, and there's one of those Transformer type things, and it goes in its shield. It strikes and then goes into its shield, and it goes into a little pod. And I'm sure it was called a Bolock.
Right.
Now I must have misheard it. There's no way you can call a little kid's toy a Bolock. So, can you phone in? I'm quite willing to be wrong. It'd be very disappointing, but, are people making little Bolocks for kids?
Yeah.
Oh wait, 700, 800, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what was the other question?
The other question was who, was the 4th person that wrote Arthur's Theme?
Yeah.
When you get caught between the moon and New York City.
Crazy, but it's true. Yeah.
The only thing you can do is fall in love, Karl. So I was out with Karl last night, obviously party animal, he's hanging out with some of my friends. You enjoyed yourself, didn't you, Karl?
That's alright.
But, you were a bit worried about, Jennifer Lopez, weren't you?
Yeah.
What was the concern?
I don't really know what's going on in the pop world.
You're joking.
No.
Go on.
And, I was there in the toilets, right? And I heard it playing out on the speaker, and I heard the DJ go, there you go, that's, Left Eye Lopez there.
That's not...
And I thought, it's Jennifer Lopez.
No, it's the little one.
She had some sort of eye injury.
You thought he was breaking the news of Jennifer Lopez losing an eye by calling her Left Eye Lopez?
Yeah.
That's genius.
Don't worry, we put him right, it's okay. He slept easy.
Yeah.
But you were worried for a while, weren't you? You were anxious for a while.
I had no idea, and the thing is, I heard that on, Thursday, so for, 3 days I've been thinking...
You've been panicking?
Why she called that? Because she changed her name before, hadn't she, to J-Lo or something?
Yeah.
So I thought,
Yeah.
and she got some people after her. She owes someone money. Keep changing her name.
That was What by Gabrielle and Rise.
Anyway, more music, Rick?
Oh, I'd love to.
So, what have you got lined up there, Carl?
Beta band.
Oh, yeah. Sweet. Sure.
Massive respect.
Yeah.
No, Jew, yeah.
104.9. I'm loving this, Steve. It's a lovely day.
Yeah.
We're
playing some great music.
We're playing some great tunes, aren't we?
Absolutely.
We're having some great chat.
Yeah.
So, let's carry on. Let's continue.
Well, absolutely. Well, obviously, Carl was out with me last night, and he saw that I'm, he knows I'm a ladies' man, and that was obvious, Carl. You could see the vibe around me, couldn't you, when the chicks were talking to me. And, just remembered recently, actually, I was on a train coming back from, hometown Bristol. And I was on the train, and, this girl walks on, good-looking girl. I thought, hey, a largely empty carriage. I'm thinking, my luck's in. Because I take every opportunity, Carl. That's the thing about me. I don't choose. She was a good-looking girl. She sat down. I thought, she sat down right near me. I thought, brilliant. As, this guy comes up behind her, and says, I think it's probably a boyfriend or something, sits down next to her. And I listened in on the conversation, obviously, because I'm pretending to read. It was very clever. I read the same page for hours, so I was pretending to listen. I was listening, but pretending to read. And, I realised that it's not her boyfriend or anything, it's just some guy she's met on the platform. And I'm thinking, brilliant, if she's the kind of girl who's just going to start talking to someone, on a platform, on a train, brilliant, I'm going to be in here. Because he was only going one stop. So I'm thinking, what's the worst that can happen? He'll nick off, I'll get chatting to her, and, who knows, I could join the... is there a train equivalent?
Foot High Club.
The Foot High Club, brilliant. And, so I'm excited, I'm listening in. And, it turns out that they're both kind of, graduates, they've just finished university, or they're coming to their finals or something. And they're chatting away, and he's making a couple of witticisms, and she's kind of tittering at his jokes. I'm thinking, well, I'll tell you this, if she's laughing at this kind of material, I am gonna blow her away, with my kind of anecdotes and wry observations, It was weak stuff, I gotta be honest.
Really?
He was coming out with nothing. He was running on empty, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And she was loving it. So I'm thinking, brilliant, I'm gonna be right in here. And then they get moving on to higher brow things, and, I think she was going to study kind of Marxism or something like that, or communism, something. And she was asking him, as by way of conversation, she was asking him what he knew about Marxism, and he was fumbling for his vague knowledge of it that he had in his life. And I'm just sat there thinking, come on, love, in any given capitalist environment, the proletariat will revolt against their oppression by the bourgeoisie, and after a brief period of socialist rule, emerges as a classist society governed by community cooperation.
Well, if that sort of talk wouldn't get a woman hot, I don't know what you'd use then.
If Marx and Engels is not going to get a woman sweaty down below, then nothing is. So my name is
You're just biding your time.
Exactly. I'm just going to go in for the kill any minute.
Yeah.
So anyway, it comes to his stop, right? He gets off. I'm thinking this is a piece of cake, and he gets off, and off he goes. He walks off, and I'm thinking brilliant. And I thought, I'll wait. I'll wait till the train's pulled away. I'm not going to leap in straight away.
No.
And he comes back along the carriage, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute. He goes, listen, do you mind if I give you my email address, right? And if you want to get in touch, email me. I'm thinking, come on, you loser, get off now. Save your face. Please, before it's too embarrassing. She accepts the email address because she obviously doesn't want to hurt his feelings, whatever. I'm thinking, fair enough, she's a good woman, I'm liking her. I'm thinking, that's my kind of girl. So anyway, he gets off. I'm sat there, the train pulls away, I'm thinking, I'll wait a few minutes, I'll just, give it some time. Her phone rings, it's her friend on the phone. And, she starts to it, and I was listening in, and she was going, just met a guy on the train. I'm thinking, that's true enough. She goes, he was a good-looking guy. I thought, you're having a laugh, love. To be honest. Because I was looking at him, and she said to her friend, he looks a bit like tennis player Boris Becker. I thought, you should be so lucky, frankly, because I saw him, he had awful facial hair, if that's what makes him look like Boris Becker. Terrible little goatee beard, it was laughable. I thought, I don't know, and then she goes to thing, and she's like, I met him, we got chatting and stuff, and she was going, it's not often that you meet someone, generally in life, who's, kind of thoughtful and intelligent and funny. I thought to myself, I'm not even going to waste my time with you, love. Frankly, if that's what you thought of him.
You just walked away.
And I'll be honest with you, I didn't even bother talking to her.
No, I
didn't even waste my time with her.
If she thinks that bloke is not only great looking, but funny and intelligent, and she got on well, and he was polite, and it was a chance meeting, and he thought, and she thought that you were like a freaky looking dork who didn't even have the nerve to speak.
If that is what she thinks, then I don't want to know it.
I couldn't, you walked away, and good luck to you.
And I have my dignity intact.
Yes, and she's nothing. Well, coming to that time where we do White Van Man.
Absolutely, with producer Karl.
And Karl's also going to be telling us his slant on fables, on Aesop.
Absolutely.
I was out with Karl. I know shouldn't be.
Yeah, well, I broke the rule as well.
I know. Well, I was out with him the night before, I think, and we were just chatting. And as you know, we're going to Edinburgh for a week.
Yeah, that's all three of us.
That's all three of us, yeah.
There wasn't, I just wondered for a minute if there was some arrangement you two had made. Like next weekend, just popping out there seeing the sights.
Yeah. No, we're going to do a week's broadcasting from the Edinburgh Festival. And, you know, and Carl's going, I bet you lie in, don't you, and all this. And I was going, well, yeah, he's going, well, he wants to be up at 9:30 and out looking at the sights, you know what I mean? Yeah, but anyway, and I said, have you ever had haggis? And he went, it's black pudding in it. I went, no, it's mince. He went, I like mince. I went, yeah, but wait, it's mince in a sheep's stomach, right? And he went, what, they force feed a sheep, then kill it? Imagine that, Carl.
It makes sense, though, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't make sense. They force feed a sheep mince, and then kill it till its stomach's nice and full, and they go, oh, this one's full, kill it, before it starts digesting it. Of course they don't. It's a membrane and the other one, he was talking about, like, he likes Richmond Park. He goes, I like to see all the deers. I went, it's deers, plural, you don't need to say deers. I try and educate whenever I can.
What's that one?
I said,
the deer is already plural.
Yeah, deer is plural. I said, you know, like sheep or fish, so you can say fishes. And we were laughing at us. I said, do you know the, plural of, mongoose? Because a lot of people think it would be mongoose. It's not, it's mongooses. Do you know what Carl said?
Plural of mongoose.
Mongoose, yes.
Plural of mongoose?
It's worth a competition. No, it's not, no.
No, go on.
Carl, what did you think the plural of mongoose was?
Mongs.
Play a record after this white van, man.
Do you want to play,
Oh, let's play a bit of Dylan, yeah. This is a beautiful track. It's, Just Like a Woman. Carl went, he's got his headphones on, so he's speaking a bit loud.
The harmonica's playing.
In a whiny Manc accent, when the harmonica's going, that's an annoying sound, that, innit? God.
Oh, bless
Bob Dylan there. An annoying sound there.
Did you hear about...
The annoying sound of Bob Dylan, that could be a new album.
Yeah.
Just that sort of sound always reminds me of, a one-man band.
Yeah.
Have you heard the story about Leo Sayer with his song One Man Band?
No.
Years ago. What year was, oh, God.
I'm in the mood for dancing?
What's the song that he did about a one-man band?
One-man band, it was called.
Right, yeah.
Funnily enough. Go on.
He did that, one-man band, and he was playing it at the Dominion Theatre.
Yeah.
And apparently, whenever he sort of sang this song, he got the audience involved. And the line in it was, I'm a one-man band.
Nobody knows or understands. Is there anybody there can lend me a hand to my one-man band?
He said that, and what he used to do, he used to reach out.
Oh, yeah?
And grab people's hands, and then he'd walk down the middle. Anyway, he said, well, anyone lend me a hand? He stuck his hand out, grabbed like a hand, and was walking down. Everyone looked horrified, and some woman who had like a plastic hand, it had come off. And he was walking down the middle of like Dominion Theatre with his plastic hand in his hand. And he said, oh, it's a moment I won't forget.
He knows how to tell a story, Leo Sayer.
Right, well, it's time for White Van Man, which is where we ask Carl the questions that the Sun asks someone else.
Exactly.
It's an article in there where they ask them, you know, typical man on the street, the big questions of the day, gives them their platform to the nation, and we think this is just too good to let out, because we only care about one person's opinion in the country now.
That's true enough, Mr. K-Man, and there he is.
There he is, right.
Carl, your thoughts, please, on Kylie Minogue slagging off Britney Spears for ignoring her fans at her premiere. Are you aware of that story?
No.
She got booed at her premiere of her new film, Britney, because she'd left her fans waiting for like an hour. Some of them had travelled up from Bristol, other parts of the country.
3,000 of them.
Loads of them screaming for her. She just went straight into the theatre an hour late, just gave them a quick wave and straight in. Didn't even bother to shake their hands, sign any autographs. So they were booing.
What do you think of that, Carl?
And Kylie's obviously said that was actually outrageous, you know, and you should treat your fans with respect. What do you make of it?
So she did wave. Like.
Yeah, but literally as she was walking into the theatre.
Was it raining?
No, I don't think it was.
He's like a defence lawyer.
Yeah.
Who hasn't really read the brief.
He's just winging it.
Judge's first joke, was it raining? No? Oh, shit, I was relying on that. Was raining.
Was she running late for the start of the film?
Yes, but that's her own fault. I mean, the people are inside, they're not going to start the film without her. It's Britney Spears.
Yeah.
She could take some time out. You know, when Tom Cruise came here, he spent like an hour and a half shaking people's hands, talking to people on their mobile phones, all sorts. That's Tom Cruise, he's a bigger name than Britney.
I know, but...
He's a smaller person, but he's a bigger name.
What do people want from people, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
an autograph, things like that, a photo.
This one's going nowhere, Steve. Is there another one?
Fair enough.
Yeah, you know, it's not bad. If she had more time, she might have done it. I bet she would have done it on another day. I mean, I'm not feeling too good today.
But you're going to still take time out to sign people's autographs, surely, when you leave the building.
Yeah, there's always a bit of a crowd, isn't there?
Next.
Go on.
What do you make of New York's ex-police chief saying we need more bobbies on the beat? He's come over here, he's the guy that sorted out crime in New York City. He's come over, he said, you're going all over the place here. You need more bobbies on the beat, more policemen, a visible police presence.
There was something last week about, some copper in London who was sat on a bench, and he was asleep or something.
Yeah.
And people were, like, outraged because, like, he should be looking after, you know, England's people, not nodding off on a park bench. Which is a bit daft because
they were shouting he should be looking after England's people.
Was
this the 16th century you went back to? What do you think he should be looking after England's people?
You know, wherever he was, if he was in like a park somewhere, they were like really annoyed because he was asleep. But
sure. He was probably undercover.
No, but the thing is, if there would have been any trouble, I'm sure he would have woke up.
Yeah.
If there was any sort of, if someone needed help and he screamed, he would have woke up. So I don't know why they were having a go at him.
Yeah. And he might not have been there at all, so, you know, it was, you know, so, he would probably have his radio turned on, didn't he?
Yeah.
Listening to Heart.
So you're not concerned then that there's not, the crime's going up?
I think there's enough, I see quite a lot of them whizzing around.
Okay. You're happy then?
Yeah.
As long as you're happy, Carl.
So you don't think it's too much crime?
No.
Just the right amount of crime?
Yeah.
What about the fact that, new gambling laws give Blackpool the green light to become a British Las Vegas? What do you make of that? Are you a gambler?
Little bit, when I go on holiday, like going in the arcade and having a little flutter.
Sure.
What's your favourite?
I have a go on the fruit machines.
Yeah.
There's a good one called The Simpsons.
Right.
Is that your favourite?
Yeah, it's quite good.
Is that a tie-in with the TV show The Simpsons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Will they make Blackpool the next Vegas? I don't think so.
No, nor
Can't
do
see it
I.
happening.
No. You been to Blackpool?
Yeah.
What was it? Was anything?
It's a bit rank.
Is it?
It is a bit rough.
Okay.
Needs a lot of work doing on it.
Yeah.
No, that won't happen.
Okay.
And you're not worried about this encouraging gambling, generally? Gambling's not a vice you're concerned about?
If you're a gambler, you're a gambler. Do you know what I mean? If Blackpool isn't done up, they'll go somewhere else to have a flutter.
Sure.
So it's not going to make any difference.
Okay.
No.
Okay, jolly good. What do you make of the So Solid crew's Ashley Walters being jailed for 18 months? Obviously not a very good example to his young fans.
He should have got more.
Do you think?
I had a dream about him the other night.
Go on.
About the group itself.
Okay.
I had a dream that...
Were they all there? Because there's a lot of them. I couldn't remember all their faces. To feature in a dream.
I had a t-shirt on.
He had etc.
Exactly,
He had
yeah.
two of them, he had etc. Yeah.
I had a t-shirt on.
You had a t-shirt on?
Yeah, and it said on my t-shirt, So Solid Poo. And I was walking down the street and they came towards me. And they were just about to beat me off
That's a
the way.
great dream.
That's amazing.
That's an amazing
I love that.
dream.
We've
For
all
a
had
30-year-old.
We've all had that anxiety dream. Oh my goodness! What if I meet the So Solid crew and I'm wearing a t-shirt that slags them off?
Oh, I don't believe it. Yeah, you know, yeah.
So what happened? Did you get beaten up in the
It was one of them where I woke up. Do you know I've been telling you that I keep getting them things where you feel like you're falling?
Oh, yeah.
It was the same sort of thing. It's
You know I'm not a real psychiatrist, don't you? You should, you know what I mean?
You do know a lot about a lot.
Yeah, I do, thanks very much.
And, you know, if I'm at home talking to Suzanne about something and I don't know the answer, I think, right, I'll ask Ricky that one,
Yeah.
see him.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But you know that, I think you might have mentioned before that apparently if you die in a dream, it means that you're dying in real life.
Yeah, well, that's it, if you don't...
But apparently if you get beaten up by the So Solid crew in a dream, it means you're being beaten up by them in real life.
Yeah, that is true.
You probably work
a lot of people
in your face.
do. Yeah.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
So yeah, lock him up for longer.
Okay. Finally, what do you make of Halle Berry becoming the first black woman to win the Best Actress Oscar? Did you see her speech?
Got on my nerves.
Did it?
I mean, you know, it's good that she won. You know, it's nice for anyone to win an award.
Yeah.
But she did go on a bit. And, you know, I've been in that same sort of position.
What? Placing an Oscar?
Well, I got, what they used to do at school is,
Okay.
if you did a full month without being off, you got a gold certificate.
Okay.
And I did a month once without having a day off. And
Sure.
I went up, and I didn't make a fuss.
You didn't start crying.
Go on, play a record, mate.
Well done, though. Were you the first kid in your school to do that?
I don't think anyone else got the certificate. It was only because I was never in. They tried to encourage me to come in.
It was just for you. They mounted an entire ceremony.
Bella Sebastian on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Matchin.
Well, I mean, it is indeed wise words, Rick. I'm worried that people are going to get out of the office now and into the sunshine and not be listening to the show.
There's always the transistor radio.
That's true enough. You're heading down to the park. Take
well,
it along.
it is time.
Keep it low, though. Don't want to irritate other people.
No, yeah. And if you do want to irritate him, spit on him, it's better.
Exactly.
And kick them and throw little rocks.
Exactly.
With me, Karl Pilkington. We're into this way into the second month of the education of Karl. As you know, Karl got 1 GCSE in history and E, and we've been cramming, haven't we?
Oh, Rick, before you mention that, can I just say something? Obviously we always do this thing with the Sun, White Van Man, where we read this thing out from the Sun and query Karl, and I was out with some friends last night, and my friend Dan always listens to the show, and he said, Karl, I love the bit when you answer questions in the Sun. Why do you ever know what the questions are before they're asked, or is that your first answer? And Karl said, no, that is it. They don't let me see what the questions are first. They don't show them to me, and I always get really anxious and get really paranoid. And I was just wondering, have you seen the error there, Karl? Have you seen the mistake you've been making? Right? You're worried that you didn't get the questions beforehand, right?
What? How could you
maybe combat that, do you think?
How could you combat that if you're really nervous, coming
maybe you wanted to sort of have some views or ideas beforehand?
It's your error, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's your show if you want to, like, take a chance with me.
No, his point is this, that if you're really worried about it, how could you get hold of those questions in advance? Is there any way you could get hold of those questions in advance?
Yeah, but is it always in today's? Is it always in Saturdays?
Yes.
So they don't do that every day of the week?
They do, but I always take it from this Saturday.
Right, well, yeah, but that would cost me money. I'm not on enough as it is working here on a Saturday.
Okay.
How much is the Sun?
30p.
Yeah, well.
You're not made of money.
Yeah.
Actually, it's 40p on a Saturday, I don't know what I was thinking.
Well, you were studying Aesop's fables, weren't you, this week? Now, I'm gonna be very liberal here, and let you talk about it. It's not a test, I'm not, hey man, just like chill out, I'm not this like rigid, sort of, box in society. Just tell us your views, just tell us your vibe on Aesop. Tell us something, what have you learnt from his fables?
He, made a bit of money out of something that's quite simple.
Yeah, I don't know if he did make any money out of it. I mean, I think it was published like thousands of years after his death, but go on.
Yeah, they're just little stories. I mean, enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Didn't learn anything from them.
Okay. Or did you see? Because it's teaching through sort of like metaphor and analogy, and maybe it all seeps in and it's all subliminal, and maybe in a way your subconscious is teaching you.
No, it's silly, Rick, it's silly.
If the stories were done in like a real way, that there's like a man and a woman, and it's a little story that something happened to them in life, then you learn something. But it's all about, a gorilla and a fox are walking through the woods. How often does that happen?
Sure. So you're saying if it was more like
if it was more true to life,
if it was more like real stories, like a kid on his grifter and a magpie pecking at his head, or two frog boys with webbed hands. I mean, if it was real stories from real life
that people could believe, actually happened,
maybe it would teach us something.
But why not do that? Like, take a real situation, say like the So Solid Crew guy,
yes,
going down for carrying a gun. Use that in some way. Do you know what I mean?
As a warning, maybe about carrying guns?
What about something like, if you carry guns and that is illegal, you could have some sort of punishment?
Yeah, that's
good.
So it doesn't bother you then that the fact that these fables have been used for many, many generations to educate maybe young children or even older people, the fact that they've served a brilliant function and they've become classics, that doesn't bother you? You've seen through them?
Well, they don't always work.
Okay.
When I was out with Rick the other day, he brought one up.
Oh, I told him one about the two mice, the industrious mouse who, throughout the summer, he would be storing berries, nuts and berries, and he'd be storing it, and the other ones just be eating off the trees and running around and having a laugh. And they go, well, you're going to become hungry. And he'd go, oh, I'll worry about that when it comes to it. And they'd do that, and he'd be storing his nuts and berries, and autumn came, and the mouse was still playing and not doing anything. And then winter came, and the silly mouse was, like, shivering. And he went and knocked on the mouse's door, and went, I'm freezing and I'm starving. And the clever mouse said, well, I told you, didn't I? You should have been storing your nuts through winter like I did. Come in and share mine. And, what did you say, Karl?
Well, and the moral of that is whatever.
Just be careful. But my thing is that it's not very good, because the moral of that is do what you want, and there's always a do-gooder, a share theirs.
Sure.
Yeah.
But the way I think, which is more sort of 2002, the ending should have been, the guy with all the berries should have, been going, oh, I'll be alright come the winter. I've got loads of food, I'll be safe. But then, as he's going into his little hut at the beginning of the winter, some sort of bus or something comes and kills him. Right. And it's like...
You should have partied hard, because you might die.
Yeah. Enjoy life whilst you've got it.
Yeah. Okay, and if winter comes, just starve to death.
Well, worry about tomorrow.
Okay. I'm wondering if there's a new book here. I really am wondering if there's a Karl's Fables.
He's been coming out with the Sun all week. He keeps going, well, that's a fable, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's your favourite fable in there? Have you learned anything from this book? Is there one fable you liked?
Yeah, I mean,
What did you like?
they're all alright.
What did you like?
You're throwing it on me now, there.
Didn't you like one about a crab, you said?
No, that was the one about messing about on a cliff edge or something. Don't mess about on a cliff edge. Well,
What was that?
I don't know. There's not many around here, so I didn't take much interest in that one. You know what I mean?
God.
Um,
I'm doing my best here. I'm
You don't
dying.
remember
yeah,
any?
here's one.
Go
Yeah,
on.
here's one that was quite nice. There was a belly, you know, like your stomach,
Yeah.
and it's this belly on a pair of legs, and the legs was saying, "I'm more important than you because I carry you around," and the belly said, "Yeah, but you know, if it weren't for me holding all this food, you wouldn't have the energy to walk around."
Yeah.
And that means, like, you know, rather than working on your own, it's best to work in a team.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the one similar to that I was taught when I was little was, a vision of, heaven and hell. And, it went down to hell, and in hell, right, there was these, people had like 20-foot long, chopsticks.
yeah.
And they were getting their food, and they couldn't get the chopsticks into the food and get it round to their mouth because they were just too long.
Right.
Right, that was how. And in heaven, they had exactly the same thing, but they were feeding each other.
What? Alright.
You don't like Chinese food? Is that what you're concerned? Is that what your concern is, Carl?
No, I'm just...
Well, see, the one I remember, and I can't remember the ending of it, it's about two nuns in a bar.
Yeah, oh, I know.
I can't remember what it is.
Yeah,
Remember
that's
that
it,
one?
yeah.
Or are they on a bike?
That's two adventures. It's the same nuns, but they go to all sorts of adventures.
They're normally quite erotic adventures,
Well,
though.
they are, but there was one where they're driving down a cobbled street, I remember. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me, Steve Merchant,
Hello
and
there.
Carl. Well, Carl, I really don't think you got your teeth into the fables, really. I don't think you...
There wasn't anything to learn. I read a couple, thought, yeah, that's alright, and put it down again. There wasn't anything to learn. It was all stuff I knew already. But made up with nice little foxes and bears and stuff. So,
Yeah. But is that one about, like, that one we spoke about, like, when the hares are going, we should share all our food, and the lion said, that's a good argument, but it hasn't got the teeth and claws that we've got. That's lovely, because it's sort of like, you know, that's an indictment on sort of, you know, you could say it's an anti-equality almost, you know, you could get really sort of deep into that, you know what I mean? You could, no?
Big
All right.
philosophical ideas in a nutshell, not interesting?
no, not really.
Okay.
Okay then, well, you're gonna hate this then. I've brought in the concise Oxford Dictionary of Quotations. Now, just look at some of your favourites. I'd suggest going straight to things like, Wilde, or, Newton, or Churchill, or,
You're a big fan of Churchill?
Churchill.
Yeah,
like
oh
his
well,
art.
he's the boy. Yeah, right, okay, let's, go through that all, Kramer, blah, blah. Newton, right, right, here's a famous one, okay? This is Isaac Newton. If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants.
Do you like that one?
So there's a meaning in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he hasn't actually stood on the shoulders of giants.
So remember, he's an amazing, inventor and mathematician, and he discovered the incredible, laws of the universe, and he's saying, yeah, okay.
If you want a good view, move into a multi-story.
He's saying, right, if I have seen further than the people, and he's being modest here, it's because I've stood on the shoulders of giants to get that view.
If it weren't for all the people that have come before him, with their great insight and knowledge, he wouldn't have seen what he's seen.
He's taken his learnings, and those people have given
Why
him
just say that? Instead of making up, that's what I've got a problem with. People don't say what they mean.
poetry, art, and...
In
yeah.
life, though, people never say what they actually mean, and, you know, there's loads of books on it. I don't know.
But the point is that he's just summarised quite a tricky idea, beautifully.
It's beautiful. That gets into you much deeper than just the words, than just the literal words, you know what I mean?
One of my favourites is from an American novelist, and the quote is, talking about the subject of fame and being famous, fame is a mask that eats into the face. Don't you think that's amazing?
Meaning?
Well, meaning that fame is something that is artificial, that you wear initially, you become famous, but it's ethereal, it's nothing, it's intangible, it's just an artifice. But if you stay famous long enough, you begin to think that mask you're wearing is really your real face. So that you begin to, you know, think that you are more than you perhaps are. Do you see what I mean? In the way that fame and power can corrupt.
Oh, who said that?
No, it's an American novelist, I forget his name.
Yeah, it's alright. Yeah, it's something in that.
Yeah.
Okay. Pick another one, right?
Yeah, let's have a look. Bernard Shaw, he's no slouch.
I think maybe when you take this book of quotations home, Karl, you should maybe just draw up maybe a list of 3 or 4 of your favourites and tell them next week.
Why do Shaw, Wilde, I look at Shakespeare as well, you know, he's...
What, are you a fan of Shakespeare?
No.
Go on, what's your problem with it?
Just, the way they speak. Can't follow it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like West Side Story?
It's really old as well. I can't relate to it. It's like years and years ago, isn't it? That's why I like Churchill. Because
1940s.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is Shaw. Okay. There are 2 tragedies in life. One is not to get your heart's desire. The other is to get it.
Again, how would you see that in your little?
Well, that's one homework then. I'll mark that. That's your homework. You got to work that out. You got to tell me what you think of it.
Say again?
Don't ask Suzanne. It's there. Right. There are 2 tragedies in life. One is not to get your heart's desire. The other is to get it. Okay? Take that home with you. And we'll be hearing Karl come up with some amazing quotations next week.
Yeah, pick out your favourites.
Now I'd like to play a song for the lovers while he's thinking.
No, I don't think we've got the lovers lined up.
Oh, what have we got?
Bit of hip-hop. It's hip-hop hooray.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, everyone's a big fan. I played something from this last week. It's this new album from Nerd, In Search Of. It's been re-recorded by the lads, I don't know why. And anyway, it's particularly good. We played last week Things Are Getting Better. This is the one we have played in the past, actually. Bobby James.
Well, just read that book anyway. Can I just say, this is one of a beautiful, is Keats, right? What do you think of this? A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness.
See, this is just like how it was at school now. The last couple of weeks I've been quite interested in what you've been giving me. Now it's really like,
okay.
I really don't care.
Now what about this? Now I did philosophy, and philosophy is obviously the quest for knowledge, and look, listen to this though. This is what Keats came out with. Philosophy will clip an angel's wings. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Don't be constrained by what's, dream a little, you know what I mean? Just go beyond. I don't agree with it, but it's a lovely bit of poetry.
Yeah.
Yeah? So you're gonna read that for me, are you, Karl? Yeah?
Yeah. Just pick out 5 of your favourites.
Yeah.
The ones that mean something to you.
And then next week I'll bring you in pictures of animals.
Brilliant.
Okay?
We'll do it.
Okay, and some sweets.
Rick, I've had a word with some of the top brass here, or they had a word with me in the corridor. If you remember when
Did they say, who are you?
Pretty much, yeah. Oi, 4 eyes.
Yeah.
And, no, they said they were saying that, obviously enjoy the show, they love it, and, they're just worried though that in the early days when we started the show, remember we were a lot more informative. We used to do the film reviews, there was things like the gig guide and stuff like that,
sure.
which we've kind of let go by the wayside.
Yeah, they want us to bring that.
Well, exactly, so I just wanted...
No, the gig guide, I was worried that, funnily enough, the XFM gig guide does not include some of the biggest bands in the world.
Okay, alright.
Or some of the best venues. That's what worried me.
No, look, Rick, just do what you're told, alright?
Is it better?
There's the gig guide. It's got better? It's got a lot of big names on it. You're gonna love the gig guide.
I need a bet if this is gonna be pretty impressive.
Let's play the proper jingle.
Okay. Tonight, if you wanna see these 2 bands in a small venue, get down to the Metro Bar on Oxford Street. Doors are at 8 PM and tickets are only £6 to see 10 Benson and Beach Buggy. Alright? Now, if you missed Longwave, supporting the Strokes of Brixton Academy last night, you can catch them headlining Casino Royale at the Monarch.
Rick, I missed them last night. How much will I be paying for that?
You'll only be paying £5, right? But listen, they're also supported by Shelby and I Remember Nothing.
Brilliant.
Now, people know about the Brixton Academy, but a little-known venue in Brixton is the Windmill. And you're going to see 3 great bands there tonight. Guapo, Plonquez, and Mechanical Beetles Never Quite Warm. So, Orange Goblin and Grand Magus play the garage, and, Diefenbach and Sudden play the Rotar sessions at Nine Hills Arts Club. So that's the gig guide on XFM.
What a load of rubbish. I mean, switch off the jingle. Look at this. We've discussed this before, haven't we? Names for bands that will never be anything.
Ladies and gentlemen,
please welcome to the stage Mechanical Beetles Never Quite Warm. Please welcome to the stage Planquez. Please welcome to the stage Orange Goblin. Oh, goodness me. Look at this.
Oh, God. Orange Goblin. Orange Goblin.
It's so rubbish.
What's his name? Got a fake tan, hasn't he? That one of his supermarket suite. What's his name?
Dale
Winton.
Dale Winton, yeah.
Supporting REM. I remember nothing. Never gonna happen. I mean, please, come on, people, think.
Hey, here's a band that plays big venues. Doesn't make them better, sure, but this is Radiohead. Apparently we missed a gig on that gig guide. Drip Feed are playing the Rock Garden on the 21st of this month.
Excellent.
So, the lead singer just called in with that. He also, left a quote with me, apparently, Coleridge said of Keats, wasn't it? He's, like an archangel slightly damaged.
Rick, I'm worried we're getting a little bit highbrow.
Do you reckon?
Have you got any knob gags you could do quickly? Because I'm just thinking we're switching. There's a lot of people that are going to be turning off. I mean, currently on Capital FM, Chris Tarrant and Dr. Neil Fox together at last. The partnership we've always
they
wanted.
said it would never happen. Do you know what I'd like to see together? That breakfast DJ, Sarah
Cox.
And who's the dancer? Just Carl.
That'll be Carl Cox.
Carl, please, why are you suddenly saying these rude words? We've been reprimanded once,
don't
Carl,
say
please.
that, and don't say it so aggressively, because it sounds like you're saying Cox aggressively.
Come on, we've been reprimanded.
Yeah.
Alright? Just don't use language like that.
That's annoying me.
Come on.
Why is it annoying you?
Because
we're talking about DJs, that's their names.
But you try to be clever.
I hardly think that's clever.
You've given them
Yeah, if that's my best attempt at being clever.
I've got rubbish homework this week.
Okay, he's really upset about
Really
this.
upset.
He was looking forward to animal fat.
You said you were going to bring in that big book, 500.
It's so... I got it off one of those bargain books. I thought it'd be easy, right? Because it's too elementary.
No, but that's more useful than that to me.
But it's things like the tortoise has a shell to protect it.
That's good.
Yeah, but you know...
Because you thought it was there just to be painted on the tip.
Oh, have you ever peeled a tortoise? They fly, they go about 400 miles an hour. It's to weigh them down, because they're the fastest lizards known to man.
Exactly.
Honestly, they run so fast they can go through walls.
Yeah.
And so their shells put on them in the hospital, in the maternity ward, at a very early age, just slow them down. You let a tortoise out a shell and you won't catch it.
Steve, do you know that turtles can breathe out of the bum?
Turtles can breathe out of their bum. I know someone who can talk out of it, but didn't realise that.
Tell us about that. Tell us about that. How do they do
That's
that?
it, that's all I know. They go, when they go swimming, they can sort of, if they don't want to stick their head out, they can just...
Stick their arse out.
Yeah.
Why don't they want to stick their head out?
Just if, I don't know, maybe they need to be looking for food under the water.
Yeah.
And if they stick their head up to get some air, they might miss something.
Wouldn't it be easier to have an arse that could forage for food? So they could sort of like lounge in the pool like a jacuzzi, and they're looking around going, alright, hello, hiya, and meanwhile its arse is like munching grass.
Yeah, bad
Wouldn't
breath.
that be easier?
Bad breath.
Wow. I wish I understood what that meant.
Yeah.
In all this
it's like a
hilarity,
quote, isn't it?
but in all that this hilarity, I'm worried we've forgotten the true meaning of Easter. No, come on, Rick, come on, come on. You're just, you're being frothy and lightweight and a little bit rude, but it's a time for remembering
And chocolate.
that someone did die for our sins.
Yeah.
So can we just
Be ashamed to disappoint him.
can we just think about that and just take a moment just to consider that?
Yeah, can we do that?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You understand the true meaning of Easter? It's not just about eggs and bunnies. You understand it, don't you?
Yeah.
What's your memory of it? What's your understanding of it, Carl?
Then what do you-
Easter. What's it all about for you?
What do you have to do at school? Do you have to do anything at school?
I think we got a long weekend off.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
What did they call that weekend?
Easter weekend.
Brilliant.
Okay. And what was the reason for that? Why do we have Easter weekend off?
Jesus.
Yeah. But what did he do?
He put himself on the cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, he didn't put himself on.
no.
Does it mean anything to you? Are you moved by that story?
Again, too long ago for me to sort of,
Okay. To worry
relate
about
to
it. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, if there'd been an Anderson shouter involved,
Yeah.
you'd have been there, wouldn't you? You're not well today, are you, Carl?
Not at all. Don't know
No.
what's wrong with me today. I've got a bit of a temperature.
Have you?
Do you know Steve, he's always on the go at me. Last night when we were out with his mates,
Yeah.
they said he's a bit of a hypochondriac himself.
Did they?
Yeah.
What did they say? What were they saying?
He said, I said, Steve's told me he's not feeling well. Is he alright? You live with him? He said, oh, don't worry about that.
Really?
He's always saying that, and I said, that's a bit of a fable. I said, cry wolf.
Yeah. One day they say I've got a temperature, and they go, oh, I've had the Lemsip, and he'll die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've learnt my lesson.
Yeah. There was one about the boy who cried wolf. the moral can surely only be never tell the same lie twice. You know what I mean? Because if he'd have, like, come up with a different one, he'd have kept them going all year, I reckon.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that before.
What are we gonna play?
A final tune. Have we got, we got a bit of Suede, haven't we?
Well, it depends.
Let's get a bit of Suede in and song for the ladies. Let's go over.
You can't
What's
go.
what is
the
it?
ladies is very short.
It's only the football.
Don't say that. Yeah, give us your song.
What's the football? What's the match? What's this? The gig guide is Long Wave and Guapo and Plankos. What's this? What's the football match? So what are the football matches XFM covering?
Dunno. What
Come
song
on.
would you like?
Track 8.
So Bolton versus Barnsley.
You don't like sport though, do you? A lot
Well-
of people who do.
Huh?
A lot of people who do. Right, track 8, what are we going for then?
We're going for, it's a bit of Stevie Wonder.
Yeah?
And, I think it's quite a short song though, Carl. Are you sure?
No, that's cool, yes.
It's okay, you're okay, are you?
Yeah.
So this is the final song, is
This lost a lot of energy, this show.
This is it.
I mean, the first hour and 40 minutes, I think, was dynamite. I think the last 10 have been,
But I
flagging.
think Carl, he was full of life, you know, he was answering the questions and stuff, and now
And he got fed up with the quotations. He didn't like us mentioning